Okay, in this video, we're going to show you how to work a little bit more with letters. So we have this letter A, where if I didn't connect that centerpiece to the outside, it would have just fallen out and everything underneath the blue would just be gone and it wouldn't look like an A. Or on this D, if I didn't put these tabs basically in here, the center of the D would fall out and I just have a big open place. So, but before we get to that, how to do that, which is the intent of the video, I want to show you this file is set up for a more simple approach to lettering and something that you should always, think about because it's a good viable option a lot of times. So I'm going to put my last name in here and maybe give it a more aesthetically pleasing font of Times New Roman and make it bold. And then make it bigger, and then maybe do some kerning to make the letters a little bit further apart, and then I will center it, and if I move it up just a little bit, oops, I gotta select just the text here, move it up just a little bit, and then if I just turn this fill in, you can see, hey, that's how it's going to look. This may not be the best font here because it's getting pretty narrow there, but you'll get the idea of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to turn that fill off so that you can see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is select my font or my text and say convert to curves. And then I think I can just press shift and then weld. Boom, it's welded in. And so that's the quickest, easiest way, is if you can draw a line that the letter's set on. Now it doesn't matter that the center of that P falls out because you have it all connected. And it's not going to just be a big open space. So I'm going to undo that just because I don't want to mess with my drawing here. But let's just go and look at how I created this United States Navy one. So I'm going to take this outside border, just move it over here, and I'm going to break the curve apart and get rid of the two holes that I put in for alignment and mounting. And then I'm just going to put a circle in here to be that center circle. So I'm holding shift and control down as I drag it. And so that's kind of the outside cut and the inside cut. So you can see that's this line out here and this inside line here. So anything I put in here, I can have it cut out, but it'll stay intact. So let's just say United States. Top portion. And I don't know what font this is. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Find a good font that will work for us here. We're just going to use this one and make it bold font. And then I'm going to say, let's make it a little bit bigger. We can tell that it needs to be bigger. And then I'm just going to say text, fit text to path, and then bring it down here. And then I can bring it up. And that red line tells me I'm centered. So if I don't have the red line, I'm not centered. So if I want it centered, I need that red line in the middle. So now I have that red line in the middle. And then I'm going to put Navy at the bottom. So same font. Is that Humans? And then if I come up here, I can see it was 121.653. So if I just select this one and put 121.653, I know that it'll be the same font size. I can bold it. And then again, I can go to text, fit text to path and put it on the bottom. And then I just come up here and select these two to get it flipped the right way, and then bring it down. Again, I want to spread that out so that the letters are a little bit further apart. You can see the V and the Y are still too close, so that may be a little bit too much. So we'll go back just a little bit. Back just a little bit. And then we'll come back here and bring it down. You can see my red line, it's trying to get to the outside thing. Keep it to the inside alignment, so I might just for ease of this, I might just take this, let's see, get rid of that for now. All right, we're gonna redo this. I think somehow it was selecting that outside one, so we're gonna do navy again, and do, I don't know where it went. Navy. Bit bigger, what was it? 121.653. Make it bold, and then fit text to path, and bring it in here, and then flip it so that it's on the other side. Bring it down, do the kerning with the shape tool, just to bring it apart a little bit. Maybe a little bit back. Right, now we're going to come back here. This is what I was trying to show you. See how I can get it where the circle is right in alignment with the upper letters outside, and I have the red line in the middle so I know it's centered. So I'm good to go there. So then what I'm going to do is come to this one and say break curve apart, and then I'm going to select that outside one and this inside one and say CE. Oops. I guess it's maybe what I need to do is just grab it and bring it to the center there. So now I have it, but as you can see, my D and my A would be messed up. And so what I typically do is first let's make sure we're sized to what we want. So this is a 12-inch. I tried to make this as small as possible and still work. That way you can make it as big as you want and it will obviously work. So the first thing I do is I'm going to convert, and you really want to make sure you got your design done before you do this. So the lettering should be the last thing that you do. So like I really should have this center part done and everything before I start messing around with it. Because if you ever want to edit after the fact, like you're going to blow things apart where you can't text edit anymore. So I always do them last, but let's get back to it. So I'm gonna, let's see if I can just select the letters and say convert to curves. And then I'm gonna break curves apart. Do the same down here with this text. And see how I have to click on it twice. The first time I click on it, it's getting the circle and the text. The second time it's just getting the text. So then I'll say convert to curves, and then I'll say break curve apart. Now I'll just try and select the A and I'll say combine. And I'll just select the D and I'll say combine. And I'll just select I'm going to select the inside of the A and the outside of the A is what I'm doing by doing that and combine. So now each letter is its own entity that I can go mess with. But I really only need to mess with the D and the A. And so what I usually do is I'll draw myself a straight line that's long enough, to make sure it goes past the width or height of the letter. And then I'll come up here and I'll just make it, so in this case I want to be about 1/10 of an inch. So 0.1, you could do 0.12 if you wanted to. I think in this case that's going to be fine. I can even do 0.125 to give myself a little bit more thickness of the metal that's going to be remaining in this letter. But now, because I did that and it was locked in the ratio, I still got to drag it down here. So now what I do is I'll bring this around, and first thing I'm going to do is just put it, oops, I just want to move it. I don't want to, I'm going to put it right there at the midpoint. And then when I let go, I'm going to press my right mouse button so that I made a copy of it. So again, I'm going to put that right at the midpoint. And then I'm going to move this out of the way so it's not in our viewfinder. So when I do this, if I click again, I can bring that point, the midpoint or the center point over here, and then I can rotate it just until it aligns. And see now how it's perfectly aligned with that center line. And then I just select that one, and I select the D, and I come up here to this one, which is back minus front. And when I do that, boom, it makes it where now it's got tabs there so that that piece doesn't fall out. Now there's a bunch of different ways on the A, and I really like this one in this font, but I'm going to show you a different one for this font. And that's to come in here with the same thing, take that same line. I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to use that node as my point this time. And then I'm going to click it again until I get in the rotate mode and get that center and drag it to that node. Now when I twist this around, and I can even go to that node, I don't think it really made it to that node. Now you can see that I'm right in line with that. And whenever I select the A here and press that front minus back, or back minus front, boom, I get that way of turning it into a stencil. So, and then now, I'm not going to do the one down here because I want to show you the difference. I'm going to say combine. And when you say combine, it kind of made that whole one shape all together. And when I press the fill, you'll see that the white stuff is what's going to get cut out. And so because I've made this connection here, that's not going to get cut out. And made this connection here, I'm still going to keep my shape. But down here, I'm going to lose that piece in the middle of the A because I didn't do it as well. Now, you could go in and do that to make sure you didn't lose it. But that's the rough down and dirty on how to do lettering. I'm trying to think if I have any other, let's see if I have another one that I can show you. Import, let's look at my drawings, see if I have, like, I don't want to use, let's see if we say, dear, welcome dear friends. Let's look at that one. Dear friends, we're going to import that. This one, you can see all they did is type the letters over the outside of it and then just weld it to it. So let's just do that one again. It's just, say it's just a square. We say welcome. And we pick a good font. So I'm going to make this a different shape. So I'm going to come in here and just make this like it's a picture frame. So I'm going to combine that. And if I fill it, you'll see that. And then I'm going to come select my welcome and change the font to, let's do that, Pacific again, or maybe that's not a good font. Harlow. No. Just stick with Arial. And we'll do bold. And again, I just got to, maybe I'll center this. And then I'll just bring it down until it touches. And if I grab it and select now, let's see if it'll weld without breaking it apart. Yep, it did. So now if I turn it off, you'll see now that it connected everything. So, but now you can no longer edit that text, right? It's no longer text that can be edited once you weld them together. So that's one way, is put it on the outside of the line and weld it. put it on top of a line, weld it, or just draw your little tab thing and then use the second click to turn it into the rotation mode and use that to put it on a line that you want to line it with, and then be able to spin it around. And then once you select the two items, being able to do the back minus front. So it's just one in from the right. I think that's create boundary and then back minus front. So if you can remember that, it should be good to go.